My child, I have chosen you for tomorrow. Listen closely, and I will explain what this means. Have you ever looked back on your life and noticed those moments, the ones that seemed small and unplanned, where something remarkable happened through you? You spoke a word of comfort to someone lost in sorrow. You offered help when you had little time to spare. Or a simple gesture of yours changed the direction of another person's life. You may have dismissed these moments as accidents, thinking they were too insignificant to be part of a grander design. But I want you to understand a deeper truth. In my eyes, nothing that is born from love is ever small. A single act of kindness, a truth spoken with a gentle heart, a hand extended in a moment of dearness. Those are the very threads I use to mend the fabric of a broken world. You are not a random spark in the universe. You are a carefully placed ember, glowing in the hearth of tomorrow, ready to bring warmth and light. Do not confuse humility with being invisible. The world often celebrates only what is loud and seen, but there are profound tasks I entrust to you that require no fanfare, no trumpets, and no public applause. Sometimes, I will ask you to work in quietness, because silence is what keeps the work pure and protects it from the contamination of ego. At other times, I will call you to be bold, to speak out when a situation demands a courageous voice. Both are sacred honors. Both hold immense weight. Both are the means by which the world slowly but surely bends toward justice, beauty, and truth. The measure of your life is not found only in the great storms you withstand, but in the small, consistent ways you care for others. It is measured in how you gather the scattered pieces of a broken heart, how you turn toward those who are hurting, and how you find the courage to speak the truth even when your voice trembles with fear. These are the true markers of those I have chosen. There will be days when doubt screams in your ears, when the path forward seems entirely shrouded in fog. In those moments of uncertainty, I want you to remember what I have placed within you. Deep inside your soul, there is an inner witness, a steady flame that cannot be extinguished by the howling winds of fear or despair. It may flicker, it may be reduced to a whisper, but it will never go out. That flame is my signature on your soul, a constant reminder of who you are and for what purpose you were created. You must learn to trust it, especially when the world tries to devalue you or when the opinions of the crowd contradict the quiet, steady counsel you hear within. Prepare yourself for this calling, not just by acquiring skills, but by cultivating your heart. Nurture patience as a farmer tends a field, knowing that some growth takes time. Sow seeds of empathy in every interaction, striving to understand the world from another's perspective. Practice discipline as you would a prayer, making it a sacred rhythm of your life. The future I am calling you into will demand both fierce courage and profound restraint. There will be moments that require you to leap into action without hesitation. In those moments, leap. And there will be moments that require you to be still, to wait with endurance and silence. In those moments, wait. Know this, I will never ask of you what I will not also give you the strength to do. When I place a heavy responsibility on your shoulders, I also extend the grace needed to carry it. But this grace is not automatic. You must actively reach for it. You must invite it into the empty spaces of your life, into your fatigue, your fear, and your doubt. Do not fall into the trap of believing that being chosen means you will be exempt from suffering. In this world, choice and suffering often walk hand in hand, like a teacher and a student. I will not shield you from all pain, because pain has a unique way of opening eyes that have been blinded by comfort. But I promise you this, I will be with you through every moment of it. I will meet you in the heart of your ache and transform your pain into a river of compassion that can water the dry lands of others' lives. Let your wounds become windows, not prisons. Allow your suffering to make you more compassionate, not bitter. There is a powerful refining process in sorrow. It burns away all that is trivial and leaves only what is essential. If your heart feels cracked and broken, understand that this is how the light gets in, and it will shine out from you more brightly than it ever could have through an unscarred stone. You are called to be a living mirror of mercy. When you see someone fall into shame, do not close your hand in judgment. Instead, extend your hand in welcome and help them stand again. When you encounter someone who appears powerful and proud, remember that power without humility is a brittle crown, easily shattered. And when you are tempted to use the gifts I have given you for your own glory, remember the morning sun. It rises not to boast of its own light, but to reveal the beauty of the world. Seek the company of those who are gentle and truthful. Learn to teach more through your presence than through your words. True leadership is found in serving others. Authority that is rooted in love will endure, while authority built on fear will inevitably collapse under its own weight. You will come to many crossroads in your life, and often the easier path will glitter like gold, while the right path will appear to be a dusty, difficult road. Choose the dusty road. Its stones will teach you endurance. Its open sky will teach you clarity. Do not let the promise of a quick and easy solution seduce you. When the world applauds you for compromising your integrity for the sake of comfort, I am asking you to hold fast to an inner line of truth. Your promises matter deeply, for they are the stitches that create trust between your heart and the world. Be faithful in the small agreements you make. They are the training ground where you learn to keep the larger, more significant vows. A faithful life is not built in a single grand gesture, but from 1,000 tiny choices made with integrity. When you must speak the truth, do so with tenderness. Honesty without love is a weapon, a sharp blade that wounds. But love without honesty is a fog, a haze that obscures the way forward. Let your words be both a balm that heals and a compass that guides. There will be times when speaking the truth will cost you relationships, comfort, or your social standing. Speak it gently, plainly, and with a heart that is ready to listen in return. Sometimes truth is the medicine the soul desperately needs, even if it stings at first. A loving delivery can open doors that blunt force could never break down. When you are confronted with an unauthorized mistake, choose restoration over humiliation. Correct others as you would want to be corrected, with care, with patience, and with the clear goal of healing, not shaming. Remember that you are part of a vast, interconnected web. Your uniqueness is not meant for isolation. Seek counsel from those you trust. Gather people around you who can support you and be willing to bear their burdens in return. You were never created to carry the weight of your life alone. In your partnerships, be generous with gratitude. In your communities, be humble in your service. Use your gifts for the flourishing of all, not for your own hoarding. Whether your gift is a particular talent, a financial resource, a position of influence, or an unusual capacity for joy, let it circulate. Invest in others. Mentor and train those who come after you. Give freely to causes that widen the table and invite more people in, rather than those that narrow it. Generosity is not a drain on your resources. It is a multiplier. The love you scatter will often return to you as a harvest in the most unexpected ways. Wealth that is kept only for oneself becomes sterile and lifeless. Wealth that is shared breeds life. Let your work be a form of worship. Do not create a false division between the sacred and the secular, as if my presence is confined to certain rooms or specific rituals. If I am the source of all things, then every honest effort, whether you are painting a canvas, teaching a child, writing code, cooking a meal, cleaning a room, or negotiating a deal, can be an offering to me. Strive for excellence in all that you do because the world deserves your best. But serve with humility so that your work becomes a channel for my life to flow through, not a pedestal for your ego. In moments of overwhelming fear, call my name. It will be like lighting a lamp in a pitch-black room. Remember the stories of those who walked through their deepest fears and found courage on the other side. Know that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in the presence of it. Share your fears with trusted companions. Speak them aloud. Often, the shadows of fear shrink when they are brought into the light and given a name. And remember, you are also permitted to retreat. Sometimes, rest is not an act of cowardice, but a necessary preparation for future bravery. Be quick to celebrate the successes of others. Envy is a poison that corrodes the soul from within, while praise is a balm that heals. Be a person who amplifies the victories of those around you. When someone in your circle is honored, rejoice as if you yourself were being lifted up. When you see someone else rise, do not calculate what it might mean for you. Remember the many hands that have lifted you in your own times of need. The flourishing of a community is not a zero-sum game. The success of one person can kindle the fire of success in many others. Keep a sense of wonder alive in your heart. Find delight in the small, ordinary things. Cultivate a taste for music, for art, for stories, and for silence. Never let the convenience of modern life erase your capacity for awe. Pay attention to the sky. Watch a child discover an insect for the first time. Trace the intricate patterns on a leaf. These moments are anchor points, reminding you of the depth and richness of being. Teach the next generation to be both brave and gentle. Model integrity in your own life. Tell them stories that do not embitter them against the world, but prepare them for both its breathtaking beauty and its inevitable trials. Give them deep roots of truth and strong wings of love. Let them hear about your mistakes, not as ancestral curses they are doomed to repeat, but as instructive maps that can help them navigate their own journey. Show them how to repair what is broken, how to seek forgiveness, and how to carry the light forward. Do not be surprised when your path stretches far beyond what you had originally imagined. I often enlarge your vision through circumstances you would never have chosen for yourself if you were given the choice to remain in your comfort zone. These deadenings of your life may be accompanied by discomfort, but they also bring with them an increased capacity to love and to serve. Receive them with courage and with the knowledge that I am stretching you so that you can hold more grace, bless more people, and witness more of my wonder in the world. Hold fast to joy. Joy is different from happiness, which is often dependent on circumstances. Joy is a deep river that flows through your soul, present in times of trial as well as in times of triumph. Cultivate the practices that feed this joy: gratitude, laughter, honest companionship, and creating acts of beauty. Joy is a powerful sign that your life is aligned with truth. Protect it fiercely from cynicism, which is a slow and silent thief. Remember to rest. The rhythms of work and rest are sacred. You are not created for endless productivity. Rest is a prophetic act. It declares that your worth is not measured by your output. Observe a Sabbath in whatever rhythm your life follows, whether it is for a few moments, a full day, or an entire season. In these times of rest, you cease your striving to prove yourself and instead learn to simply receive. In rest, you remember who you are beyond your achievements. Know that I am with those who are afraid, with those who are humble, and with those who act justly. I take no pleasure in seeing hearts crushed. My delight is in watching them repair, grow strong, and thrive. Call to me in the middle of the storm and in the quiet of the morning. I hear your prayers. Sometimes I will answer immediately. Sometimes my answer will unfold through the slow and patient work of time. Sometimes I will answer by rearranging your circumstances, and sometimes by transforming your desires so they align with what is truly good for you. Be ready to be surprised by mercy. I am far more generous than you can possibly imagine. There will be times when doors you thought were sealed shut will swing open, when those you considered enemies will become allies, and when a devastating loss will be converted into an unexpected gain. Celebrate these moments of grace. Give thanks for them. When grace arrives disguised as a small, ordinary thing, receive it with wide open hands. Live as one who is chosen, not for a life of privilege, but for a life of service. Let your life be a river that flows out to quench the thirst of others. Let your voice be used to speak for those who have no voice. Let your hands be used to build where things are broken. Let your mind be used to imagine creative solutions, and let your heart be used to carry those solutions into the world. The future I am inviting you into is being built by those who are willing to lay down their ease for the sake of a greater purpose, who are willing to lean into discomfort for the sake of love. Pay attention to the small contributions of others. Notice the hands that pick up what you have dropped. Acknowledge the smiles that steady you when your world feels like it is tilting. Gratitude will anchor your heart and keep you from becoming proud. Remember to return thanks for every kindness you receive, even the ones you think are simple or that you believe you deserve. Gratitude is the practice that keeps you tethered to the true source of all that is good. Do not be afraid of your mistakes. Mistakes are not proof that you are a failure. They are evidence that you are trying. Own them, learn from them, repair what can be mended, and then move forward as a new, wiser person. Do not linger in guilt as if it were a storm cloud that will never pass. Repentance is the practice of reorienting yourself toward the light. It is not a couch upon which you must wallow forever. When you fall short, admit it openly. Make amends where you can, and then set a new intention. Humility does not demean you, it refines you. Be generous with forgiveness. There will be people who wound you deeply, and your first inclination may be to withhold mercy. But I ask you to consider forgiveness not as forgetting the harm or excusing it, but as an act of freeing yourself from a prison of bitterness. Forgiveness loosens the chains that bind your own heart. It is a radical seed that, when planted, can grow into a forest of peace. Forgive so that your spirit can breathe again, and so that the cycle of hurt can be interrupted in your life. But do not mistake forgiveness for a lack of boundaries. Sometimes, setting a firm boundary is the most tender and loving thing you can do for yourself and for the other person. Tend to your inner life as you would a beloved child. Cultivate moments of silence where you can hear my voice more clearly. Pray not only when you are desperate, but also when you are delighted. Make space for wonder. Notice the ordinary miracles that surround you every day. The gift of breath that returns after a deep sleep. The way the rain rearranges the world and makes everything clean. The kindness of a neighbor you never expected to meet. These are not trivial things. They are my fingerprints on the canvas of your everyday life. When you pay attention, life itself becomes a sacrament. Stand for justice with both clarity and compassion. I am near to the oppressed and the brokenhearted, and therefore I call you to be near to them as well. Speak up for the voiceless. Stand alongside those who have been pushed to the margins of society. And remember that true justice is not merely about punishment. It is about restoration and the rebuilding of relationships on a foundation of fairness. Feed the hungry. Raise your voice in the courts of conscience. Be a faithful steward of the earth so that future generations may inherit a world that is healthy and whole. Your faith is made visible in how you treat the least among you. Welcome the strange and the unknown as a classroom. You will be called to new places, to meet new people, and to encounter new ideas that may unsettle your comfort. Approach them not with fear, but with curiosity. The unfamiliar often carries profound gifts that are masked as challenges. Be willing to learn the languages of other cultures and other hearts. Be open to letting your old certainties shift and to allowing new truths to take root in you. Humility before complexity is wisdom. Arrogance before mystery is folly. Do not be anxious about being in control. There are things that only I can arrange. There are seasons for sowing and seasons for reaping. Do your faithful work with all your strength. Accept responsibility where it belongs to you, and release into my hands the outcomes that are not yours to command. True freedom comes when you relinquish the need to micromanage the future, and instead focus on stewarding the present moment with your whole heart. Cherish your relationships as a sacred trust. Love carefully, deeply, and with intention. Marriage, friendship, parenthood, mentorship, those are all holy assignments. Be present with the people you love. Listen more than you speak. Remember the birthdays of the heart, not just the birthdays on the calendar. Stay in the gritty, difficult work of apologizing and forgiving, of celebrating and mourning together. When a conflict arises, do not flee. Stay, seek to understand, and work toward repair. The covenant of love is the workshop where your character is most profoundly refined. Finally, my child, do not be afraid to hope. Hope is not a naive or foolish feeling. It is a disciplined act of courage. Plant the seeds of hope daily in the soil of your life. Water them with prayer. Guard them with your actions. Widen their reach through community. Hope will make you steadfast when the news is bleak, and it will keep your hands engaged when weariness tempts you to give up. I have woven hope into the very fabric of reality. When the voice of despair whispers that nothing will ever change, you must answer with the small, steady actions that build a different future. A kind word, a difficult but necessary conversation, a choice for justice, an insistence on truth. Do not mistake a talent for a calling, or a calling for a comfortable path. Your talents are like seeds. Your calling is the orchard that requires years of patient tending. A skill that you enjoy may point you toward your purpose, but it will need the soil of sacrifice and the water of persistence to become truly fruit-bearing. Your calling is not merely about what you do. It is about who you become in the process of doing it. If your work softens your heart and molds you into a person of greater compassion, if it enlarges your capacity to love without condition, then you are on the right road. But if it narrows your spirit, promotes contempt for others, or multiplies your hunger for praise, then it is time to pause and reflect. True callings refine character. They do not merely feed the ego. You will encounter voices that promise certainty without cost, and voices that offer complexity without any direction. You must learn to discern their fruit. The voice that leads you toward humility, patience, and a wider embrace of others is the voice that is closer to me. The voice that promises you power, exclusivity, or relies on fear is not. Remember, truth often carries a cost, but it ultimately sets you free. Lies may promise ease, but they will always shackle you. Walk toward the truth that liberates people, even when its path is narrow and difficult. When you sense a calling on your life, bind it to a community. Isolation is the false friend of pride and confusion. Share what you feel with wise companions who love you enough to be honest with you. Listen to the wisdom of those who have walked longer paths and to those who are suffering the consequences of choices made in haste. Counsel does not extinguish a calling. It polishes it, refines it, and sometimes corrects missteps you cannot see on your own. I have given you a body of people to walk with. Use it. Let their questions sharpen your aims and their prayers bolster your resolve. Do not fear the long obedience that discernment and calling often require. Some things take years to take root. Some purposes require you to repeatedly die to your own selfish desires. Persist in the small acts of faithfulness. Show up. Do the small task well. Speak the compassionate word. Give what you can. These are the midwives of destiny. The world is not changed only by sudden heroic acts, but by the steady, loving hands that care for it day after day. If your calling seems to be a slow burning fire, tend it with the same reverence you would give to a sudden blaze. Consistency is a powerful form of worship. Now hear this plainly. You must never step back from helping another person simply because the task is inconvenient or will go unnoticed. To help is to participate in the great weave of grace. When you reach out your hand to lift a single life, you alter more than just that moment. You alter a history. A timely word can reroute a person's journey from despair to hope. A small, unexpected kindness can awaken the courage for a new beginning. Do not ask how your small act will change everything. Simply trust that I can make connections from what you do that you could never imagine. The risk of stepping back is not only that one person remains unaided, but that an entire corridor of future blessings stays closed. There will be times when helping someone will cost you your comfort, your reputation, or even your security. Expect this and choose courage anyway. A life lived in a default self-protection will eventually calcify the heart into indifference. The world is in desperate need of hands that are willing to get dirty, hearts that are ready to forgive, and mouths that are prepared to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. When fear tells you to withhold your help, imagine for a moment that the person standing before you is someone I love just as fiercely as I love you. Let that thought harden your resolve. You will not be stingy with compassion. Helping, however, does not mean relentless enabling. Wisdom and mercy must dance together. Offer the kind of help that heals, not the kind that sustains a harmful situation. Sometimes, the most loving act is to demand responsibility, to hold a firm boundary that forces growth, or to provide a natural consequence that encourages learning. Discernment in these moments is crucial. Help that perpetuates dependency is fundamentally different from help that empowers. Always ask yourself, does my assistance increase this person's dignity and agency? If the answer is yes, then give without counting the cost. If it risks enabling destruction, then choose restraint and offer to accompany the person toward a healthier path. The courage to help grows in the soil of humility. Pride will deceive you into helping only for the applause. Let your hands reach out simply because you see a need, not because you crave to be noticed. I value the sacrifices done in secret just as much as those done on public stages. There is a noble and quiet power in unseen kindness, and it is never invisible to me. I keep every act of love in a memory that nothing can erase. When you are tempted to start tallying your good deeds for approval, remember that the true reward is the change you help bring about in another's life and the transformation of your own character in the process. Understand that the defense of the vulnerable is a sacred task. Speak for those whose voices have been silenced by poverty, prejudice, or powerlessness. The arc of justice in the universe bends when those who love justice lift their voices against what is wrong. Your stand against oppression does not need to be loud to be effective, but it must be persistent, principled, and rooted in truth. Advocate with facts, with empathy, and with an unshakable commitment to the dignity of every person. Remember that compassion without justice can be a mere bandage on a deep wound, while justice without compassion can be hard and brittle. Both are necessary. Keep a constant watch over your motivations. Ask yourself periodically, why am I doing this? Is it to ease my own conscience, to be seen by others, or because I genuinely care? This kind of honest accounting will keep your actions pure. When you find that your motive has become corrupted, confess it, seek correction, and refocus your heart on the person you are meant to serve. Let love be the root of all you do, not the hope of a reward. Service that is primarily seeking personal vindication will eventually hollow out the one who serves. You are chosen, my child, not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. You are chosen not because you are powerful, but because you are teachable. You are chosen not because you know the way, but because you are willing to walk humbly with me and with others. There is a destiny in your tenderness, a calling in your courage, and a future in your faithfulness. Walk forward now with your hands open and your feet steady. Be a light in the ordinary places. Be a source of rest for the weary. Be an instrument of reconciliation in a divided world. Be a voice of clarity in the midst of confusion. Be a heart that chooses love again and again and again. I go before you and I walk behind you. I will correct your course when you stray, and I will celebrate with joy when you return. When you finally come home, you are hailed. You are known. You are loved beyond all measure. Step into tomorrow with this ancient and perpetual blessing. Go and let love do what you alone cannot.